to be doing prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Hold on. Well, you can't really see past the thing, and I'm not exactly sure how to move it. Oh. Okay, then. It's as easy as that. Well, let's move these out the way first. But anyway, you're probably wondering, what's a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell anyway? And some of you might be wondering, what do I need it for? And those are good questions that I will answer. Just a moment. First, let's talk about eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells, what makes them different from prokaryotic cells, are that they have a nucleus, and a membrane-bound nucleus, more specifically. Which means that they're going to have something like this. Now note that I'm not like a cell expert, so if the shape of the membrane is wrong, my bad. And they also have many things suspended in a membrane as well. Well, suspended anyway, I'm not sure about it. So like maybe a vacuole here, a couple of mitochondria there. Maybe an endoplasmic reticulum over here. But, you know, that's the point. But prokaryotic cells, on the other hand, are very simple. And they do not have a nucleus. Instead, they have what's known as a nucleoid, which I will show you what it looks like in just a moment, if you please. We'll do it over here, and... oops. Okay, let me just... okay, that's better. That's what I intended to do the first time. This is a flagella, by the way. It helps the cell move around. So, but they have their DNA just kind of, you know, sprawled out, not like all over the place, but pretty much in this mess right here. Well, except this. This isn't in the cell, so it doesn't count. That's better. But yeah. Wait, hold on. What's transparency anyway? Well, reverse. But yes, that's the difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell, or one of the main ones anyway. Now, there's another difference that I might want to mention. Now, eukaryotic cells tend to have multiple strands of DNA, meaning that they're going to have, well, double-stranded DNA more specifically, but prokaryotic cells, sure, they might have a couple of like strand ones, but they're also going to have some circles, some DNA circles. Circular DNA like this. And now on to the question. Which of the following statements best describes a eukaryote chromosome? Eukaryote chromosomes compared to prokaryote chromosomes. Prokaryotes tend to have a single linear chromosome, while eukaryotes typically have multiple circular chromosomes. Remember, they have more than one, so that's a no. Prokaryotes generally have multiple linear chromosomes, while eukaryotes have single-stranded circular chromosome. That's not quite right either. Eukaryotes generally have multiple linear chromosomes. Prokaryotes. Oh, my bad. Prokaryotes have multiple linear chromosomes. Well, this is automatically wrong. Eukaryotes have strands, not circles. Eukaryotes generally have multiple linear chromosomes, while prokaryotes have a single-stranded circular chromosome, and eukaryotes generally have a single linear chromosome, while prokaryotes have multiple strand chromosomes. And thus, the really only making sense answer at this point would be C. A scientist studying aquatic life discovers a new organism. He studies it under a microscope and draws a diagram of what he sees. Which of the following describes the newly discovered organism? So it has cilia, a cell membrane, cytoplasm, a nucleus. Alright. So it's pretty much going to be a eukaryotic one, simply because it has a nucleus. Remember, prokaryotes don't tend to have nucleus. Nuclei? Yeah, that's right, nuclei. Instead, they have a nucleoid. So let's just go over the other choices really quick. The organism is a prokaryotic because it has a cell membrane. All cells have membranes. Therefore, that's not, no. Alright, C. The organism is eukaryotic because it has cilia. Both types can have this as well. The organism is prokaryotic because it has cytoplasm. All cells have cytoplasm. So, A. Imari. I'm just going to say it's Imari. Imari uses a microscope to study different... Imari? Yeah, I'm just going to say Imari. Uses a microscope to study different prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. Which of the following statements describes how prokaryotic cells appear compared to eukaryotic cells? Prokaryotic cells have cell membranes, while eukaryotic cells do not. All cells have cell membranes. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of goop floating around. They need the cell membrane to hold them together. B. The prokaryotic cells have cytoplasm and the eukaryotic cells do not. All cells need cytoplasm. That is a no. Prokaryotic cells have a nucleus, while eukaryotic cells do not. Just know, it's backwards. And D. Prokaryotic cells are much smaller than eukaryotic cells. Now, this last one is true, and let me explain something about cells. Cells have a volume to a surface area ratio because volume allows them to do tasks inside the cell, while surface area allows them to get rid of materials, interact with their outside environment, and etc. Now, the volume tends to be big. Now, the volume is bigger than the surface area. And the surface area is smaller than the volume. But point I'm trying to make here is that prokaryotic cells aren't very good at maximizing their huh? Who? I heard a little boy screaming. I think he was cursing. Alright. Sounded a bit too real to me. Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah, if you heard it, then I don't know what was going on out there. Or wherever. But prokaryotic cells are not very good at maximizing their surface areas, or at least as well as eukaryotic cells. So that was the point. Sorry, trailed off there. Yep, you can see it right here. Which of the following best describes the organism seen below? Now, you can automatically observe that there is no nucleus. Tell me where you see one. Spoiler alert, there isn't one, which automatically means that this is a prokaryotic cell, and no further observation is required. Okay, that's not an option, however, it is still true. But you notice how there's no organelles floating around in there, and there's just a clump? Well, that is also another thing that separates prokaryotic cells from eukaryotic cells. So D is the right choice. And that's all there is to it. Thank you and goodbye.